Smart second, and Cade Nightingale taking the win in that first moto. So we got two of your Cobra boys up there inside of the top 10 of the first moto. See if we can turn it around as we launch into the first corner right here. Who's going to get that Stasic hole shot? I do see the 4 there of Jaden Smart with a pretty good one. He's trying to sneak up the inside. Don't know if he actually crossed the hole shot line first, but look at that. He's shooting down the inside into the race lead ahead of the 49 machine into that second corner. Oh, man, the 96. Oh, got off to the track there. That's Ashburn Hall making a bit of a mistake.
Yeah,
a couple riders down.
Ashburn won the 50cc moto earlier today, so.
Oh, that's a bummer to have a bad start when he was on his way to a potential good start. So we have got Smart in the lead. The 49 there in second is Talon Hinson. He was fit in our first moto. And all these kids shuffling towards the back. Just so fun to watch these kids start to battle, right, Kira?
Yeah, it really is fun to watch them battle and ride and just have a good time out there.
All right, heading back into Storyland. And we're seeing these guys all kind of tucked to the inside, really trying to shorten up the racetrack. But hey, Jaden Smart leading him, and you said he crashed in that first moto, had to come his way back through the field to get second. This time around gets that start, though.
I think he actually did come 42nd to second, and then he fell again late in the race when he was closing in on Cade. So he's got something to prove this moto.
Now, is he typically a good starter? This is what we expect out of him getting out front like this?
Typically a good starter. He's just smooth. He's a great jumper. He's a good starter. Uses his head really well. He's mentally strong, so he's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch and have as part of our team.
Well, he has already opened up a nice little comfortable lead. We are watching that battle for second as they go over the Rocky Mountain. There are about 7 riders pretty much in a bit of a grouping right there. It looks as though the 74 machine has moved into second place. That's 74 of Anderson Waldell. Coming down into the Thor Beach corner here around Polysport Pond. And man, there are a lot of riders nose to tail right here, Kira.
Yes, there are.
See all the different lines going through that Polysport Pond corner as well. Many different options to be used here today at Loretta's. And we're getting our first look. Kira, why don't you run us through what the top 10 looks like after lap 1?
All right, so in first we have the number 4 of Jaden Smart. In second, we have the number 74 of Anderson Waldell. In third, we have Nico Verhoeven on the number 26. In fourth, we have Talon Hinson on the number 49. In fifth, we have Eli Herrick on the number 66. In sixth, we have number 60, Jay Sonnenberg. In seventh, we have the number 16 of Gavin McCoy. In eighth, we have the number 28 of Seth Kenmitz. In ninth, we have the number 25 of Nolan Cobb. And then rounding out our top 10, we have Carter Pilgrim on the 51.
And Jaden Smart, like you said, still leading this one early on. We're trying to see where exactly our Moto 1 winner, Cade Nightingale, is. Looking down the order, it looks like he's in 16th spot. So roles reverse this time. Yeah. Sean Cade has to come through the field this time.
Cade's got his work cut out for him in this moto. Let's see if he can do the same thing that Jaden did in Moto 1.
Absolutely. He'll try to get all the way at least back to second, hopefully in his case, so that he can stay tied going into those final motos. So for you there at Cobra Motorcycle, you have 6 riders on the track out here in this moto. What is the preparation like in getting these kids ready to go racing for this moto? How much of the Cobra Elite program are you guys actually helping them out day of, working on engine stuff and things like that as well?
Yeah, it's not just the Cobra Elite program. We try to be open to every single Cobra rider that's here at the ranch. And so there's some of these kids that are out here very much elite, right? Jaden Smart, Epsher Hall, Gavin McCoy, and there's other kids, Gavin Walzine, who I see, he had some issues earlier today, and he's back in the pack, got banged up a little bit. But those guys, they have programs, and we work with them on their programs. The other guys, the other families that come here just to go racing, we give them their all. Our goal during the week this week is to make sure that every Cobra that's on the track is running as good as it possibly can.
So is it that anybody that is on a Cobra motorcycle, they can come to your guys' tent, you'll
Absolutely.
be able to help out with anything that they need?
We'll help them in any way we possibly can.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we're watching this battle right now, which looks to still be the battle right there for third, I believe it is. Verhoeven, Hinson, and Herrick still pretty close together. I think McCoy, as you had mentioned, is starting to creep into the picture a little bit. And we'll get a running order on all these guys as they cross the line again onto this third lap of the race. But so far, everyone just kind of shuffling around for those early positions. Does look like Verhoeven got around Waldell, so Waldell slides back to the 3 spot. Herrick up into 4th with Hinton sliding back to 5th, and McCoy running a pretty good lap there in 6th, still pretty close together. So while our leader is getting away, Kira, we've got riders all throughout the field here that are only separated by a few seconds.
Yes, we do. It looks like pretty much 3rd through 6th is all separated by a second or less, which that should be pretty fun to watch how that plays out throughout the race.
Definitely going to generate some great battles in this one. Whoa, the 74 goes for a little ride coming into the Kemetic corner before the 10 Commandments. That is your 3rd place rider, Anderson Waldell. So yeah, Verhoeven got around Waldell. He is kind of getting away from him now. He's about 6 seconds still behind Jaden Smart, who is on his way towards Storyland. We've got Waldell, then Herrick, and Hinton inside of the top 5, Gavin McCoy, and now Cade Nightingale up into 9th, so he is making that progress through the field like Smart was able to do in the first moto.
Yep, making that move, and I would expect that. Cade is an incredibly talented kid.
It's tough to do in traffic, but lap time wise, he is about 3 seconds slower right now than Smart, and we'll keep an eye on how his progress through the field continues to go with that Verhoeven moving into that 2 spot. Here's the battle right now. Looks like between the 49 of Hinson and Gavin McCoy to the outside out of Storyland. Going to turn to the inside as we head down this back straightaway, and it looks like McCoy is able to sneak down that inside and make the pass.
Yeah, Gavin finished 2nd in the 7-9, regular 7-9 moto. We used to call it the 7-9 mod class, but he looked really impressive earlier.
These kids, when they're this age and they're obviously learning a lot about, technique and different things like that, what is their excitement level coming into these motos? What do you actually see from them as they get revved up and ready to go to the gate? Because 2 motos in a day can be a pretty long day.
It can, and it's funny. I see these kids, especially at the top end of the sport. They're little professionals in many ways. Their mentality, their maturity is beyond their years in many cases, and so you can see them just mentally preparing themselves for the moto. Some of them do it. It's that way in the pro class too, right? You got Chase Sexton on the line, clapping his hands and getting all fired up, and you've got other guys that are just kind of meditating. The kids are the same way. They do a little bit of everything, but it's amazing how mature they are.
Absolutely, and they are learning a lot in a very rapid succession, especially here at the ranch. They go through a whole zenith of emotions from day one all the way until the end of racing. I see Nightingale down the inside of the 49 of Hinson, so he had moved up to 7th. I believe he just got into 6th by the mechanics area. And Kira, Cade Nightingale, our Moto 1 winner, looks like he's really on a charge here.
He really does, and his lap times are running only a second behind Jaden Smart, so he's moving through the pack pretty fast.
Which is tough to do as well when you're moving through the pack like that. You're having to make passes and also keep your lap time low, and you end up taking some lines that maybe are not comfortable to you to be able to make those passes. So pretty good ride here by the number 10 of Cade Nightingale. We're looking at this battle right here. McCoy looks like he has still got his eyes focused forward. He's going after the 66 here of Eli Herrick. So Gavin McCoy putting 2 Cobras up inside the top 5.
Yeah, that'd be okay. Boy, I was looking at that corner going into Storyland. There's no less than 7 lines. This track has just developed amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of lines, but also a lot of deep lines, which for these riders on these 65 machines, they get buried down quick, huh?
So the prep before the 65 typically isn't a whole lot. When the 50s go out, they make sure the track is pretty doable, right? These guys, sometimes they go out right after 450 Pro Sport, and the track is just deep and ripped, and they have to deal with it.
Right, so that's another jump that these kids are having. Some of them are just getting into this class for their first year. What are some of the sort of things that you can do to these motorcycles to help them better adapt to that, maybe work on suspension or things like that so that they can get through these big, deep ruts?
Yeah, one of the things we've done over the years is we've really analyzed what it takes to develop a motorcycle, design a motorcycle that races on a track that's ripped up by a big bike, right? When you have the wheelbase that's, somewhere a little more than half of what a big bike wheelbase would be, it takes the bumps completely different than a big bike does.
Absolutely.
And you have to think about that in terms of how the chassis is set up and how the suspension is designed.
Yeah, and it looks like McCoy is really utilizing a lot of different lines on this racetrack to try to make this pass on the 66 of Eli Herrick. It is still Jaden Smart from Nico Verhoeven. We also have Anderson Waldell in third, and then this battle on your screen between Herrick and McCoy. Kira, what are you seeing from Gavin McCoy as he tries to make this pass here?
I'm definitely seeing him try and switch up his lines and figure out a way to get around Herrick to move up into the fourth place position. So it's interesting to see the different lines he's taking as he goes around the track.
Yeah, definitely using every inch of the track here at Loretta Lynn's. We're actually looking at maybe a battle brewing again for second there momentarily. Waldell had started to creep back up to the 26 of Nico Verhoeven, and they are both running similar lap times. In fact, Waldell just went about 9/10 of a second faster than Verhoeven that last time by. So maybe a battle for second brewing. We also have that battle still between Herrick and McCoy, and you can't count out Cade Nightingale. He's still just 3 seconds off of that battle between Herrick and McCoy. So we have kind of two separate main battles going on. You got that inner podium battle, second and third, and then almost looks like we're about to have a three-rider battle for that fourth spot held by Eli Herrick right now. So we have about 9 minutes left of this Moto 65cc 7-9 Limited. This is Moto 2, and Jaden Smart, who finished up second in that first Moto, currently leading the field around as he comes over the Rocky Mountain here in the middle of the racetrack. There's a peek back. Just saw Cade Nightingale, I believe, flash in front of the camera. There's this battle for second once again. 26 of Verhoeven and Waldell. And Kira, Waldell got passed by Verhoeven, but he looks a little bit fired up here to go back after him.
Yeah, he definitely does look like he's trying to pass him back for that second place position.
Looking for many options like we saw with McCoy trying to figure out his way around Herrick. And as you get to the later stages of this race, obviously these kids are just 7 to 9 years old. This is a pretty long moto for them, and these conditions are grueling as well.
Yeah, and these kids, you know, Verhoeven, I'm trying to find where he finished. Yeah, he was 16th the last moto, so this is an incredible performance for him.
Yeah, good turnaround ride for sure. A great way to right the ship when things start a little bit wrong at the ranch. But hey, even a 16th, you could still turn it around and maybe even get into the top 5 overall with 2 good scores like he's
Absolutely.
having here.
I remember a year that Cooper Webb won a title in the 65 class, and he had a 9 in one moto.
Yep.
So anything can happen out there.
Yeah, that's the mindset you have to going back to the camp after that first moto, right? Is that a week is long, there's still 2 motos to go, and obviously these kids are still out here going for it and racing hard as they charge into this third corner and head down back towards us down that long short chute, as Kevin Kelly likes to call it. Jaden Smart, though, still has that 11-second lead, and he is just putting in consistent laps out front. We haven't seen him much on the screen because he's just out there cruising away.
He's so smooth.
You put it. You said it right from the get-go. He is such a smooth, calculated rider. On these machines, you know, is there much play with how much throttle range that you can have? You know, we see smoother riders on bigger bikes, you know, maybe not wide open everywhere, but then you see littler riders tend to be wide open a little bit more everywhere. Is there more range in these machines, though?
No. In fact, it's less range, right?
Yeah.
They're peaky 2-strokes, unlike watching you know, Jet run around the track seemingly at half throttle all the time and just relaxed and flowing around. I would dare say that it's a lot easier to do that on a 450 than it is a 65. so it's a ton of talent that you're looking at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So these kids have that yes or no kind of throttle response, right? You are either on it or you are not around this racetrack, and obviously it's working quite well for Jaden Smart in the lead. It feels like this battle for second is materializing, Kira. It feels like when Waldell catches him, Verhoeven's able to maybe pull it back away a little bit, a little cat and mouse game here.
Yeah, I think they definitely both have their different parts of the track that they're either stronger or weaker in, so it's causing them to one to get ahead and then the other one to catch up and vice versa.
It looks like it might come down to mistakes, and in fact, actually around the outside, I think the 74 of Waldell just scoot back by, and that game of mistakes came into play. You may have seen that 26 of Verhoeven, Kira, slipped a foot coming out of the corner, and then the whole straightaway was going a little bit slower.
Yeah, I did see that, but he's definitely not letting up. He's staying right on that back tire. So
Yeah, and he's already passed Waldell once, so he knows his tendencies a little bit here. Might be able to size up some of the lines that Waldell has changed to maybe catch up to him and make that pass again, and maybe close up on him and do it again. It looks like Gavin McCoy has moved up into the 4 spot, so he was able to get around Eli Herrick. Herrick's actually going backwards a little bit here. Cade Nightingale also up into 5th. So a rough lap there for Herrick, but hey, Gavin McCoy, second Cobra motorcycle up inside the top 4.
Yep. And I'm looking at Ebsher Hall. He's making some moves. He went down. Remember that first lap, trying to climb up into the top 10. Yeah, I'm watching Anderson Waddell move up. That pass means a lot to him because he's fighting for that podium position, unlike Verhoeven.
Yeah, some of our biggest movers as well. We're seeing Gavin Welzian go up 12 positions all the way up to the 16th spot so far. Chance Litchfield in 17th just behind him. Whoa, Holden Lampkin just lit up our board. He's now 21 positions up. He's definitely moving on that gas. Great to see that these riders, even after a bad start here, are able to rebound and charge forward.
Yeah, it definitely is awesome to see that, and it gives them the practice of having to work through the pack and get back up even after a bad start.
Absolutely. Great passing practice as well. Sets you up for your later motos this week. You're able to see the opportunities and see where you might be able to make that pass here on this racetrack. There are a lot of lines, but not all the lines are good lines, so you can get stuck in a rut or find a bad line very quickly here.
You bet, and that can change lap to lap even. Not so much with the 65s, but they're not going to tear a line up like a 250 or 450 does. But what you can do is of those 8 or 10 lines that are in any given corner, it's very easy, especially if you're pursuing, to pick a wrong one, right? One that's got a big chuck hole in the middle of it that you had no idea was even there.
Absolutely. No.
Get swallowed up.
At this age, are you seeing these kids and their parents maybe go out and look at the track maybe a few hours before their moto and see, hey, here's opportunities, we can gain positions here because we see a line that's developing or things like that? Are you seeing those things with these kids?
Certainly they do. They typically have a lot of time during the day, so they're looking at the track. We also do a track walk each year with a pro typically. And it was Ryan Sipes this year. He took all the kids around and kind of used his experience over the years of not just this track, but all the other tracks he's ridden. And it's awesome. It's really cool that the kids listen. They really soak all that in.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate a little bit of extra insight because I'm sure this week too they're nervous, right? They're very, this is a nerve-wracking week, and trying to shake those cobwebs off any way that you can. A little extra help goes a long ways.
You bet.
All right, we're looking now at the 4 of Jaden Smart still leading this one. We're down to the final 2.5 minutes, so looks like that 2-lap board has already gone out. We'll have the white flag next time by. And Smart, well, smooth riding. I think a little bit of smart riding here too, because he pulled that gap out and it's come down a little bit, but I think he's maybe managing that gap as well.
I think so. I think he's bringing it home here, and that's good. I mean, again, these kids are mature beyond their years, and he has enough experience and enough just built-in natural talent to realize where he's at and what he needs to do.
Now, how much, I'm not sure how much you deal maybe with Jaden Smart and his family, but what do you see from them on a daily basis of how they go about their routine that just kind of strikes you as impressive?
I love their family's routine because it's very atypical. So he rides a play electric motorcycle most days. They don't live at a camp. They don't homeschool. He goes to regular school. He's just a regular kid, and they're relying on just raw talent at this point in time. I think they know that as he ages and the gap closes between him and some of the other kids, that there will be a time where they have to get serious. But family time is super important for them, and raising their kids as regular kids is super important for them, and they can do that because he's just an uber talent.
Well, and still at this age, you hear a lot of current pros say how, in their day and age when they would come here at this age group or the 85 class, they'd be so nervous. But looking back, it was some of their favorite memories because they're young, they're with their family, they're getting to experience a week at the ranch. Absolutely. And that's great to hear that the Smart family still really holds true to those values.
They do.
So white flag is out. Jaden Smart here circulating the final lap. Going to take us down through the Wall of Fame and by the mechanics area. And looks like he is going to pick up that win. And Kira, it sets him up really well, obviously, for the last moto, but with Cade Nightingale not getting all the way up to second like maybe we thought he could, getting fourth, Jaden Smart has a little bit of wiggle room as well heading into that last moto to maybe not need to win it to still win the title.
Yeah, he definitely does. It'll be definitely, it's still challenging, but a little bit easier on him for the last moto to possibly win the championship. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks like he's taking a little bit of a victory tour here, looking up a little different lines here, just trying maybe a couple different things out, seeing what he likes or doesn't like around this racetrack, even doubling all the way through the commandments there on the last lap and using the far outside lines here to cut back across, and he is on his way to victory. So it is still Smart from Waldell, Verhoeven, and Nightingale has climbed up to 4th, so he did get around Gavin McCoy, but he is too far back, it looks like, to get Verhoeven to get on the podium. So Smart, Waldell, Verhoeven is our podium positions. Oh, Jaden Smart kind of bouncing a little bit right there. But I mean, these motorcycles, obviously, they're small, the riders are small, and those bumps are massive.
Massive bumps, but, you know, we have essentially the same technology in that suspension that any 450 has. And so they're built to soak this stuff up for sure.
Well, it's impressive, as large as the bumps are, that it really doesn't look like it, but for maybe a couple bumps on the track, kicking them a little bit more than you would see, you know, a bigger machine around here.
For sure. I mean, this is like any motocross track, right? You look at it, and then you go out and try to walk through it, and you can barely walk through the darn thing. So it's these kids are doing amazing things.
Yeah, flying around this racetrack. All right, final couple corners here over the Rocky Mountain. One more time, I should say, for our leader, Jaden Smart, the number 4 Cobra motorcycle machine, up and over the middle section of the racetrack one final time, and into the Polisport Pond area through that Thor sand berm, getting around a few more lapped riders, and just soaking up this last couple turns. He's going to take this victory, and with it, the 2-1 scores into the final moto, setting himself up really well. So here it is, folks. The 4 of Jaden Smart brings it down to the checkered flag, and Jaden Smart has taken the win in 65cc 7-9 limited Moto 2. Great ride right there.
I think so. Yeah, he was under control the whole way.
Yeah, I'm sure you're quite happy about that little smile.
I'm going to go down and congratulate him right now.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for coming up here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great to see you, and everything that you do with Cobra Motorcycle and everything that Cobra Motorcycle does for the sport and all the people here at the ranch.
You bet. We love it. It's a labor of love, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Go down and celebrate with Jaden Smart.
Thank you.
All right, so that is going to be the end of 65cc 7-9 limited Moto 2. Kira, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown here of the top 10 at the end of this moto.
All right, so the top 10 for the 65cc 7-9 limited class. In first, we have the number 4 of Jaden Smart. In second, we have Anderson Waldell, the number 74. In third, we have Nico Verhoeven on the number 26. In fourth, we have Cade Nightingale on the number 10. In fifth, we have the number 16 of Gavin McCoy. In sixth, we have the number 66 of Eli Herrick. In seventh, we have the number 51, Carter Pilgrim. In eighth, we have the number 49 of Talon Hinson. Ninth, we have the number 25 of Nolan Cobb. And then rounding out our top 10, we have Seth Kenmans on the number 28.
Fantastic job for all of our riders finishing up this moto with better results, hopefully, than they had in the first one, maybe leaving this one a little bit happier. So we're getting ready here. It looks like the riders are getting off the track and winding down, celebrating with the family. Obviously, a very emotional time no matter where you finish, coming off the track and getting those hugs from mom and dad, always really nice to see. And we're going to be sending it down here in a moment to Zach Herron, I believe, who is ready to interview your winner in 65cc 7-9 limited, Jaden Smart, on the podium.
Guys, I'm telling you what, if you're curious how fast Jaden Smart is, the man was up here sipping on water. He was waiting on me to get to the podium. So Jaden Smart, man, well-deserved win. How are you feeling, first and foremost? Got to be a big smile there.
Yeah, I'm super tired. The track's really rough, so it makes you really tired.
Now, we've seen you get it done when it's not quite as rough. Obviously brutal out there right now. Do you feel like you excel when the track's a little more chewed up?
No.
No? I just do what I can do, and it turns out I can get some gold medals, man. Who do you want to thank for grabbing this win here?
My mom, my dad, Fox, Cobra Motorcycles, Darius, Suspension, Tyson Engines, T-Rex Throttle, Gold Country Casino, Skyline Steel, Justin Costello from State Farm, Gold Country Casino, Dunlop, CP Racing, and everybody else. Thank you.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, I got to ask one more time. What's the game plan going into Moto 3?
Just hold the throttle wide open.
Game plan has not changed. I just wanted to make sure. Hold that thing wide open, and that is exactly what he has been doing with a 2-1 moto score so far. Jaden Smart grabbing the win in 65, 7-9 limited. Grabbing a couple of photos, and then we're going to talk to second place coming up next. He's grabbing some water, making his way to the podium. A very solid ride there. And some super good consistency up on the top side of the top 3. So he's grabbing a sip of water. I don't want to rush him. So second place, going to be coming up here and talking to me in just a second. That is going to be Anderson Waldell with a 3-2 moto score going into that final race. So a tight championship battle. And here he comes. Put your hands together for Mr. Waldell there, grabbing a silver medal here in Moto 2. All right, man, let's talk about it. So we had a third in the first moto, second here in Moto 2. That means there's one spot left on the podium, right?
Yep.
So now we know the game plan for Moto 3, right?
Yep, go out and win it.
Do what you got to do, man. What's it going to take to be able to bring that home?
Just got to get a good start and clean laps.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to thank all your sponsors here in just a second. We got big bikes going out for the sight lap. And let's talk about that sight lap. What is it you normally look for when you go on a sight lap?
Good lines.
Good lines, the insides, outsides, where to go. And clearly that makes a difference. If you don't find the good lines, you find them quick in lap 1, right?
Yep.
Do exactly what you can. All right, looks like majority of the field is off on their way for the sight lap. Who do you want to thank for coming up here on the podium?
My mom, my dad, Orange Brigade, KTM, Fly, A1 Racing, Dunlop, Scott, and everyone else. Thank you.
There you go. One more time. Put your hands together. Anderson Waldell getting the job done here with a 3-2 moto score so far. And like I said, that is a championship battle right there. Going to go all the way to that third moto, and I can't wait to see it. And now this is a true testament. So we've had the consistency up at the front, but we talk about, hey, maybe you have a bad first moto. It's all about how you respond. A 16th in Moto 1, but a third here in Moto 2. Nico Verhoeven there, bringing it up and putting it on the box, man. A huge congratulations. And that is all yours, man. Put your hands together for Nico up here on the podium. All right, man, grab you some photos, and then we're going to talk about it, because this is a comeback story here. It takes a lot of determination, a lot of belief in the program. And so let's ask, man, what happened in Moto 1?
From the start, I had no clutch. Just from the start, just spinning up. I got really bad out of the corner, like last. Just had to push those 3 laps and get up to where I can, and yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. You put it behind you, you refocused for Moto 2, and now you're up here on the podium. I would say a lot of those things got a lot better in Moto 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. What did it take to get up here on the podium?
Just hard work and dedication. I'd like to thank my mum and dad, my family, my sponsors, Fly Racing, Bridgestone Tyres, SB Tools, Game Moto for that week of riding, 100% Alpine Star, and everybody else.
There you go, a 16th in Moto 1, but a third here in Moto 2, showing he's got the speed. That's Verhoeven getting the job done. And then we've got a whole shot award to give away as well here in the 65, 7, and 9. Come on, man, this one's all yours. Talon Henson grabbing a Stasic whole shot award. Put your hands together. A huge congratulations there, man. And we're going to step up right over here so we can get you on Racer TV as well. Tell the folks at home what it felt like to come around that first turn first.
Felt good.
Now, what were you able to do with it? How was your second moto?
It went all right. I think I got 8th. And I just was fighting as hard as I could, and I ended up getting 8th. Good moto.
Hey, absolutely, man. It's a whole lot easier to have a good moto when you start up front, right?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, buddy. Well, who do you want to thank for taking you racing out here?
KTM Orange Brigade, Dunlop, Fly, Scott, Alpine Star, FMF, Ethica, and that's it.
There you go, guys. That is your Stasic Whole Shot Award winner, Talon Henson. Don't drop that, man. You definitely need that as well. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us down here on the podium. We're going to send it back up to you guys at the tower.